Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here from DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, and today we have a very special guest, our good buddy Travis. Travis, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Long time coming, otherwise known as HibikiTMD on HibikiTMD on YouTube, at the HibikiTMD on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for finally having me on. I'm excited, I'm jacked, I'm pumped to be here.
Yeah, no, we're really excited to have you. Oh, yeah, and Jim's here. Jim, you can say hi.
Oh, hi everyone. I'm also here. I'm normally here, but hi.
Yeah, we've been talking about having folks on and a bunch of our buddies, and Hibiki's been a good friend of ours on Twitter for quite a while. So this was just a long time coming. It's been a lot of trying to figure out what's the best way to do this, how do we record it. So yeah, I think we just decided to finally pull the trigger on this, and nothing too formal. So I guess, Travis, what would you say? Do you remember, like, how did you first really start talking to Jim? Because I know Jim's really our Twitter guy, and how did you manage to stick around after talking to him?
Man, I think at this point I've known Jim for like 2.5 years or something like that. I think it was just like a random video game group chat, just a bunch of YouTubers and stuff like that, and then just clicked like immediately, and that was that.
Nice.
And then a lovely relationship was born from that. That has blossomed.
Yeah.
And actually, I've been a guest on a few of Travis's shows, and I think this will be a good time for Travis to give a little rundown of all the goddamn shows he runs on his friggin' channel, because I can't even keep track of them.
It's impressive.
At this point, I just feel like a glutton with it. Like, I just feel like it's too much sometimes, but like my head was bigger than my belly, like if you're at a buffet type thing. But yeah, man, my channel, HibikiTMD, if you're into pro wrestling or retro gaming, we're your shit, we're your jam, we're definitely up your alley. Not just that though, I'm diving into like musical podcasts. I have a show now called Sunset Stripped with my co-host Jenna, where we talk about the history of the 80s glam scene in LA and all that stuff. But to run down the list, let me take a deep breath real quick. Slam Pigs Podcast, Union smacked the reset button, never drew a dime, Sunset Stripped, Hibiki Quickie. So much goodness, man. It's like I said, if it's nerdy, it's probably there on the channel for you.
So that is terribly impressive, because I know running probably 90% of what me and Jim do, that's a lot of time commitment. So I guess my question for you is, when you're doing all that, what was each project just like, hey, I know I have all these things I really like doing, so I just want to hyper focus a channel on wrestling, and now, like you said, you're doing, the 80s music. Like, did you just decide, instead of having a channel that has too many things going on, I'm just going to, like, branch out, do multiple channels? That's the easiest way to separate your favorite, like, hobbies, I guess?
Essentially, I guess. I mean, honestly, I started out just uploading like OSTs from video games just out of sheer boredom sitting around my house. You know what I mean? Because you guys can relate. Parenting comes with it some boredom. You know what I mean? Idle hands, all that stuff. And as far as like getting into podcast game reviews, I don't know if this is how you guys did it. Maybe it's going to make me sound callous, but I just got sick and tired of hearing asinine takes on things. So it was like, well, it's time to stop bitching about it. If these guys can do it, I could probably do it too, type of thing. You know what I mean? That's just how that started. And I feel like I've been such a diehard pro wrestling fan, at least for my whole life. And my brother is just like that. We've done podcasts since we were 8. Just there was nobody hitting a red button, basically. So they're like, fuck it, let's try it out. And it just launched from that. And then like my video game podcast, The Reset Button, who is with my co-host Tannen, one of my best friends I went to school with in real life. Just like, you guys are best friends in real life and all that stuff. Just like the same type of thing, man. Like, I'm sick of listening to like shitty podcasts or bad takes. They can do it, we can do it, And that's just kind of where it went. The 80s metal thing is just a pure fanboy thing. Like, other than like Eddie Trunk and stuff like that, I don't listen to too many. And Eddie Trunk is stretching it, because I don't listen to him that much anymore. He's unbearable for the most part. But that's stretching it for like 80s glam podcasts. There weren't too many of that, because that's the biggest problem. I know you guys can relate to with like doing video game content in general. It's so oversaturated. It's nearly impossible to stand out or break out or any of that shit. You know what I mean? So just, I'm at the point, I do what I like to do for me. If I like it, it's good enough,
No, that makes complete sense. And yeah, Jim and I think for me, when I was thinking about doing this, my big thing was I did hate a lot of the reviewers I was seeing. I was hating that every game was either getting overhyped or overhated just for the views. And I was like, what's the most objective way to do it? And me and Jim, are familiar. We're somehow actually engineers. So I was like, let me try to put an actual structure to how you should review a game if you want to make things apples to apples across all, every system and every console. So we had this grand idea. We were going to go through every major genre, find the best fighting games, best sports game. And we started with the NES, and we got through the fighting games, which was only 5. And we're like, that's not bad. Then we moved on to sports, and it was 22 baseball games on the NES, and just that wore us down. We're like, okay, we need to change that up a little bit. But I liked what you were saying about how you started doing the video game reviews out of kind of the same idea. The podcast, though, at this point, because you have so many going on, and obviously I think it's a bit easier to do the podcast, not as much effort goes into it. When you sit back and just do a podcast and you're able to get churn those out pretty fairly fast, does it make it tougher for you to go back and really do a review because it is so much more time consuming? Or are you now just picking games like that strictly above all else, or like some of your favorites?
Honestly, as far as the reviews go, it's kind of like now I've morphed the channel into like it's a theme month and blah blah blah. Like we just had like Sonic month and stuff like that. But before that, it was just like whatever random ass game I'd either find on the internet on an emulator or something I never heard of, or some game that it's been on my shelf forever and just picked up again, or games that I feel like don't get enough love and more people should know about, or games that don't get enough hate and people should stay away. It's just it's random is the name of the day with me. It's completely random how I do my game reviews, at least. Yeah. And I'm probably kind of all over the place. That's my sheer excitement of being here. I'm going to try to rein it in a little bit.
No, man. No, I mean...
It's all good, bud.
It's, like you said, number one, with the oversaturated market, we all kind of... You ideally want to put something out there that feels unique to yourself. And I feel like if you try too hard to be someone that's like, I got to get this game review out because that'll get me most views, it'll never work for you. So when you're speaking about games that mean the most, that's where, you can speak from a point that I think anyone watching your videos will be like, wow, this guy is really into it. And that's how you connect easier with people. Jim and I have tried, I think, tons of games we didn't like or know because we were doing genre months. And I think you definitely, our earlier video show, like it was rough. Early videos, if you ever decide to go back and look at your old stuff, you're always like, oh, Jesus Christ, why is it even on here?
Yeah, and luckily for us, a lot of them are most viewed.
Top you guys and shitty your old videos.
Trust us, we don't have many gems to begin with. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just cool because obviously we have been friends with you and I've been following your channel and seeing the growth and seeing you try these different ventures. I mean, I just like seeing that it's like, instead of doing the same old thing and getting too bored of it, like I'd rather see someone hop around and really go where their interests go. And, you just keep trying and you can keep perfecting what you're doing with every new venture. So I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I'm sorry.
One more thing on it. I feel like anyone that gets into content in general, whether it be game reviews, podcasting, anything, I feel like anyone that says they never wanted good exposure, a lot of eyes on it, is a liar. It's coming to a point with it when you just stop caring about that is the key to it. And that's where I'm at. I don't care about the views now. I just do it. I always say this. Jim's probably sick of death of me saying this. It's my therapeutic escape from domestication is content for me.
Yeah. And I'm much more with you there. Jim, he looks at numbers like a madman.
A little bit. It's a little bit of a problem over here. But even with us, it's kind of the thing where it's like we've done this for so long and we see our, let's call it trajectory. So it's like, yeah, this is where we're at. Oh, this one did a little better. This one did a little worse. But at the end of the day, like you said before, we're all dads. We're all extremely domesticated at this point. So it's nice to have a hobby or a way for, say me and Brian to get together and have a reason to do it where the wives are just like, oh, they're doing their dumb website thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we're always going to keep doing our reviews, do top 10s and shit that we've been doing. But it's like the podcast, I like the potential for us to reach out to our friends like you and other folks and really talk beer and games, like the main thing the reason why we started the site. So it's like we're never going to stop doing those initial things we were doing. It's just, once again, it's the time commitment to Okay, like you got to play a game, beat a game, edit the footage, get together, talk, say the review. That can take upwards of 8 hours or more. Excuse me. And now with a podcast, it's record, do minimal edits, and it's done in 2 hours, maybe 3 tops. So it's just, economy of time.
Yeah, totally. And I'm kind of blessed in that aspect where I've done almost 100 game reviews, but I've maybe done 2 or 3 that whole stretch with a guest. I always do them solo, so I'm able to pump them out faster. Where you guys got to kind of like meet up and come together and
Yeah.
It takes some scheduling,
and it's also tough because it's like, Jim and I we're doing our Resident Evil. I can't even call it a month. Fuck, multiple month. Just Resident Evil game reviews and
project. It's a project at this point.
Like legitimately, I was like, we're gonna beat every one of those games. I think I gave Jim, what did I give you, 2 games to beat of that series?
So no, I had to record the footage for 1, but so far I've beaten Revelations 1 and I beat 5, and I'm going back and forth between Revelations 2 and 6 right now. So
yeah,
I'm doing stuff. I do things.
So knowing Jim's limitations, I knew I just had to take the bulk of beating games.
Damn it.
But like you said, Travis, I mean, you do have podcasts with some of your friends, and you do podcasts with a lot of other people, and we don't have to tell you, scheduling people, man, that can be a pain in the dick.
For sure, especially when you record a milestone episode and you fuck it up and you lose all the footage and you got to explain to everybody what happened and reschedule it again. I totally know what you mean.
Yeah, goddamn Tannen. What the fuck?
Yeah, Tannen.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than losing. I lost one of our hard drives. I had a ton of our shit, and it's one of those situations where I'd have to get it like physically taken apart in a clean room to get it fixed, and that's money I don't have or don't want to put out for that shit. So it's just like, well, that was a loss. So now I have backups to my backups to my backups now. It's insane.
Now, Travis, when we were going back to the time constraints, I would say probably a year and a half ago, you were almost pumping out a podcast a night, and I'm talking for a good 6 months to a year straight. How the hell did you ever keep up that pace?
It isn't by living healthy. It was burning the candle at both ends. It was working all day and just staying up as late as possible, pumping out. I don't suggest that to anybody, but that was the only way. Like you said, like a year ago, I was doing it like that, and it catches up to everybody. I feel like we were just talking about Dave from GameSack today. Same thing.
One of our favorite channels, and he's just like, yeah, I got family and I got work. I can't do this shit every other week like we've been doing. So I definitely feel you there.
And I feel like they put all of us combined to shame with the amount of work they've put in over the years. Like, my God,
Oh, God, quality-wise and with just the amount of shit they put out there. Yeah. And the beating that they've put on my wallet with all the games that they've shown off. Those motherfuckers.
Totally.
Yeah, the appreciation, I think it doesn't take long. You can get, 10 videos into any channel you're making, and you all of a sudden gain a big-ass appreciation for those type of channels, and even ones that are, like, higher quality. Like, I love going back now and seeing people I used to bitch about, like the Angry Video Game Nerd, who would take time to film a lot of shit, and it's like, you're only putting it out once a month or once every 2 weeks. It's like, yeah, the amount of time that shit takes now that you have any type of appreciation, it just makes you look at things a little bit differently. But, most common people will never understand that. They'll be like, I got an iPhone, I can record. It's easy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, I'm the worst with stammering and stuttering when I'm recording my shit. The longest part, even for the videos I do myself, is just me editing out me tripping over myself. So that's like 3 hours into every goddamn video I do solo, and I'm like, wow, man, I put Brian through hell these past 5 years.
Sure did, Jim. You sure did. I think as a special...
Did you just call me Dim?
No, Jim. I think as a special video for our Patreons or for anyone, I may just show a screen recording of when I have to edit it and how many cuts I have to make in your audio loops versus mine, just to show there's in a standard 10-minute clip of you talking, especially on a video game review, I'd say I have to cut out about 60 to 70 little minor clips between just words saying whatever, and then you'll see mine, and there's probably 15 or 20. It's ridiculous, Jim.
Yeah, things happen. See, within my garbled mess of speech, there's quality things to be found there. So you gotta dig through some shit to find some gold. That's what happens.
Jim, we need to work on expanding your vocabulary. If you tell me one more time when reviewing something, it's good package. It does a job.
It's good package.
It does
It does
a
a
job
job
well.
well.
Yeah. I'm going to get you a goddamn thesaurus, and you're going to start speaking a little bit better. Just a little bit.
Every once in a while, I have to, what do you call it? I record stuff for Travis's channel with his Hibiki Pro series he has going on here. And he can tell you looking through my edits, I'm just like 3 sentences in, I go, fuck, 3, 2, 1, start again. I'm sure he's just like, God, I have to piece this shit together.
Yeah, I feel like we've done the reset button now for like a solid 2 years, and I feel like there hasn't been one episode where I don't have to edit out a good 15 to 20 minutes of Tannen, because Tannen's thing is he'll just forget we're doing a show sometimes, and he'll just bring up, you guys can attest from being on recently, but he'll just forget that we're on the air and bring up something random, like a car insurance bill I've had to edit out of a podcast before, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? But it's all good. I totally can relate on that end though, Brian.
Yeah, and it's the price we pay, I guess, for our for what we like to do.
Martyrs for our buddies.
That's right. But now, before we dive into anything else, like I said, definitely go. There'll be links below. If you're not already, make sure you go give Travis a bunch of follows on all of his channels and check them out.
And you should be.
Yeah, for sure. So, as I said at the beginning of this, we want to not only get to know all of our buddies who we interview closer to ourselves, but to anyone watching these videos. So, Travis, I guess with the theme of us being games and beer, sticking with games for a minute here, do you have, and I know this is such a friggin' general question, so do you have an actual top tier favorite game, or is it just lumped in with a couple that you can't really decide between?
I'll go can I go by series? If it's by series lumped in, it's Castlevania, hands down.
Nice. Do you have a particular one that's when you think of that series, that's man, this is my go-to, probably my favorite of that?
See, in my head, when I hear Castlevania, my head goes to 4 on Super. But in my heart, it's Bloodlines on Genesis, because I didn't discover Genesis till years later, and I totally fell in love with it, and it's become my favorite entry in the whole series.
Nice. Yeah, that's 4. Well, you said 4 right away, and I'm right there with you on that's probably my favorite of the series too, and obviously I love the shit out of that, so I can appreciate that. But what series or what game is the thing that cemented your place in gaming? If you can remember that far back of you sat down, I think most kids, it was a natural thing to play video games. Well, what was probably the thing that most likely had you hooked? Okay, I know I'm going to be stuck with games.
Brian, if I may interject here, I can venture a guess, and I'm going to say it's Smurf, Rescue at Gargamel's Castle, and ColecoVision, which Travis did actually help me out with that review.
Yes. That's one of the first games I ever played, but it definitely wasn't the game that made me fall in love with gaming. The game that made me fall
How dare you, sir?
I know, shots fired. But Mario 2, I think, is the one that Mario 2 and Zelda 1 were the first 2 games I ever became addicted. And I know I'm on the fence for this. I'm having multiple games, but yeah, those 2 were the first ones I ever fully being immersed into a video game. Before that, yeah, Atari and stuff like that. That was cool, but God forbid, we were from that generation that actually went outside. So I was kind of into other things, and Ataris were all about the high scores and all that, not this save points and just immersive features. Like I said, that came later. The first game I ever beat, funny enough, is Darkwing Duck on NES. So I always got to put that in there as a, personal favorite or whatever. But yeah, those 3 are probably the games that really got me into gaming.
That's a hard game to beat at a young age. So good for you. Yeah,
Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, that's a good point. So when you say, so that's interesting. So Super Mario Brothers 2 usually is not, when people say, I think most people would just say Super Mario Brothers, period, hearing that music, playing that style of game. So what was it with that one over, I guess, the original? Maybe did you just play the second one first, or did you?
Exactly. Okay. I just discovered it. Yeah.
Nice.
We had it, but kid me always was about the box art, even though sometimes the game could be superior, even if the box art wasn't.
Oh yeah, no, Super Mario Bros. 2 looked a hell of a lot better than Super Mario Brothers. The box art,
it's a hell of a selling point.
Yeah. So what about Legend of Zelda? That you got hooked with that? Even though I don't know, Jim and I always go back and forth on this, but It's an absolutely great game, but did you happen to have a Nintendo Power, or were you able to get that far in a game without it?
No, I had my grandmother because she was the gamer. She was diehard into like Dr. Mario and Zelda. So I would sit and just observe as a kid. It was enough to make me stop like playing fantasy wrestling matches or something in real life and be like, why is she so into this? And B, it's a video game, so it looks cool. And it was just a combination of all that. I was like, yeah. Because my grandmother is the one that got me into gaming, flat out.
Dude, that's awesome. Now, was she big Atari, and then when the NES came out, she was kind of maybe like against it, or was she all for the NES coming out, and she's like, cool, newer is better?
It was everything. It was I think every time there was a gaming system, my parents were into it, or at least my grandmother was. I was raised by my grandparents, so if I confuse people by saying parents, that's what it is. I remember having an Odyssey, but I was too young to really, understand or be able to even play it.
Oh God!
But I wish my parents still had it in like their attic or something.
Damn, the Odyssey that had like, did you have? It was the one with all the overlays, right?
Right. Yeah.
Oh shit.
And the actual gun.
Nice. Yeah, that would be a hell of a thing to still have now. Shit.
Indeed.
So Legend of Zelda. No, that's those are, I think, for guys our age, I think those are some pretty easy ones it makes sense to get hooked on the games for sure. So I guess like as you were growing up, did you start becoming very tied to like brand loyalty? Like were you like Nintendo over Sega, or is it just like kind of the roll of the dice? You had one system, so you got only for that system, or did you get into the schoolyard debates like most kids did?
I wanted it all. I loved it all. It didn't matter. I'd never had like brand loyalty until like my teens and stuff like that, where I really gave a damn about it. But before that, it was just like, if it's a game, I want it, and that's all there really was.
Nice. So what was the number one system you probably fought for the most as you grew up?
Super Nintendo, flat out. And I'll admit it, people want to make fun of me. I was 7 years old when I got a Super Nintendo, and I remember tears of joy for the first time. Like I literally cried in my tidy whities. It's on camera. I could dox myself someday. Opening the present on Christmas Day. I was so happy to get that system.
Well, I mean, it's such a better system than the Sega Genesis, right, Jim?
Son of a bitch. Nerds and your RPGs.
Jim, don't hate on quality. Listen, the Genesis did better than the NES.
Oh my god, the opera scene in Final Fantasy VI made me cry. Boo-hoo-hoo. Shut the fuck up.
See, I hated RPGs as a kid. Like JRPGs, wasn't into them at all. I get down with like action ones, like Secret of Mana and stuff. But when it came to that, not till my mid to late teens.
Yeah, Jim. That's Jim's only try to be defense against the Super NES. Is he thinks it's just an RPG fest. He just doesn't accept that. It's just better games.
Incorrect. Look, we don't need to have this debate for like the 47th time.
I know, because we've had people vote
That's
on
why
it,
I'm
Jim.
here, I'll be like, it depends what genre you're looking for in your system. They both got you. It's like sports, Sega all day. Come on.
Yeah.
Correct.
Sega was the sports console.
Platformers, kind of a tie. Shmups, definitely Genesis.
Let's back up with that platformer, Jim.
Okay,
saying it's a tie is generous.
Yeah, I'm getting ganged up here.
Jim, did you also get ganged up when everyone voted? Where did Super NES and the Genesis land on that bracket, Jim?
Bullshit. Our fans are bullshit. Our followers. Nintendo. Shut up.
No, Travis, I completely commiserate with that same feeling. And yeah, man, it's a special thing. So, I mean, as we've talked about, though, so now that you're a parent, and do you already let your daughter play games? And if you did, what was the first system you introduced?
Now it's my daughter's almost 12, so now it's kind of frustrating because she's not into the games that I am, and she doesn't like the games I'm into now. But back in the day, like she thought it was awesome. She wanted to be in all the games her dad was into. But I remember the first game I ever let her play. She was like 3 or 4, and it was an emulator of Thomas the Tank Engine on Sega because she loved that show as a kid.
Nice.
Yeah. It was Sega or Super. It was the one where you can just like you're on the track and you can make them go at like ridiculous speeds, like 200 miles an hour for no reason. It's like an open world Thomas.
That is something I have to show my son because he's obsessed with Thomas right now. So I'm gonna have to figure it out.
The Skyrim of kids games.
Yeah. By the way, last goddamn game I thought I'd be talking about on your show tonight is Thomas. So there you go. Anything's possible.
Well, I've got Barney sitting on my shelf over here, so that game.
I was
that
just
game,
about to say that next. That was the other one I let her play on the emulator. It was Barney on like Sega or something.
even better, it plays itself, so they think they're doing something.
Jim, why do you have Barney?
Well, Brian, things happen.
No, Jim, things don't happen. Why the hell do you have Barney?
It was cheap.
Is this
It was cheap. It had a blue box, and I went, "Oh, blue box."
so? We need to add that to Jim's terrible decision, one of our more popular new segments. Jim,
I'm a simple man. Some could say I was planning ahead for my eventual indoctrination of my daughter. I don't know. I have excuses.
you are a simple man.
To be fair to Jim, you can't die in Barney, so it's kind of a good decision.
We know he
You can
dies in
put the
all of his other games.
God, I knew that was coming. You can actually put the controller down, and the game will literally play itself. So, beautiful. Even my 17-month-old can get some satisfaction out of that.
Oh, Jim. Well, I'm glad you
And
brought
me,
that up.
means I
Jim.
can beat the game.
Don't don't worry, Jim. That'll be brought back up in a future episode.
Look, Brian, let's be honest here. We both know that I have enough random dumb shit in this room that can fuel podcasts for years.
Oh, I know, and I know it wasn't meant with intent to do that either.
Possibly.
Son of a bitch.
I might have gone, ooh, blue box.
God damn it, Jim. How about so Travis? That's my frustration with Jim. That he's a shelf collector who buys the worst shit. And do you suffer from that at all? Like, do you have any instincts that like you'll just nonstop collect just because it's there, but then you find yourself with a backlog of games that you're never going to get to, or are you more? I'm going to buy some games, I'm going to play them, beat them, and then I'll move on.
As far as like physical retro games, it's usually shelf candy, just like Jim. I'm guilty of it too.
My man.
But the disgusting thing is, you should see my wrestling collection sometime. That's my white whale right there. But
Dude, your video collection, holy shit.
it's probably as much as they have at WWE headquarters for their tape library. It's that bad.
I bet you have more Coliseum videos than they have at this point.
Probably. It's really sad. Yeah, dude, like as far as like modern, I always try to, give my games equal love, especially with modern ones. But yeah, very rarely. For one, I'm kind of I got short arms and deep pockets. I'm a cheapskate. I want the expensive rare ones, but at the end of the day, when it comes to actually hitting that purchase, add to cart button, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to hear about this from the other half if I do this. So I just kind of cower back from that button. But yeah, man, I'm totally guilty of the collecting bug, just like Jim.
Now, what modern console do you probably play the most right now?
Before I got my Switch, but my PS4. 'Cause I don't have an Xbox One, so I just have the PS4 and the Switch. The Switch, though, lately has just been amazing. Glad I finally picked it up.
It takes over.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just, I think it's strictly, Jim and I have talked about this, the convenience of it, and we're going to sound like a broken record, but having kids, you find the time you can, and you're like, okay, I got 20 minutes or whatever, and you just pick up the Switch versus sitting down and playing your PS4.
Exactly. And, sharing the television kind of comes in.
Yeah, that can be a pain in the ass, too.
Dude, it's so beautiful when the wife puts on whatever crap, like Bachelor or something like that, and I can just sit down there with Smash or whatever game I have loaded into the Switch at the time. It's a goddamn lifesaver. It's like, hey, look, we're spending time together. I'm a good husband.
We're like borderline getting to that scary couple now, because it's totally my fault. I got her addicted to Splatoon. So when we got our Switches, we each got our own Switch. So she'll be sitting there on the couch playing Splatoon 2, and I'll be playing like Breath of the Wild while the kids are watching something. But we're not like communicating. We're just kind of like beside each other in our own little worlds.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And she's not a gamer at all. So like to just see her get so into a game is really fun for me to watch.
Dude, my wife with Mario Party, because her and I, some Friday nights, we'll just sit in together and play that together, or we'll have friends over and play it. She becomes the most competitive asshole that you will ever play against. Love my wife to death, but she's the one who, when she'll actually win a mini game, she just goes in your face and just goes, what, fuck you, and then just like sits down. and I'm both enraged and extremely proud at that moment.
But Jim,
you get punched in the arm too if you win.
A little bit, sometimes.
Yeah.
Jim, haven't you lost a couple times to her? Like fully lost?
Yeah, some bullshit's happened. She's gotten good. She's gotten good at Mario Party.
I just had to throw that out there, Jim.
Look, you know what? Even that thing that's blind that finds the cheese and all that shit. Every once in a while things happen.
No, Jim, I don't know. What is that saying you're trying to butcher?
I think I combined about 7 sayings right there.
Even two in the bush are sinking ship. Huh. God damn it, Jim.
Yeah.
All right, Travis. So, do you drink beer?
Not as much as I did in my prime, but occasionally.
All right. So, in your prime,
He's more of an herbalist.
I understand.
I'm really into horticulture.
So when you do enjoy beers, do you have a particular style, like you really prefer a particular brand or even specific beer? Or are you just going to drink kind of like, whatever's there, it doesn't matter?
Back in the day, I was not a connoisseur at all. For the most part, in my early 20s and late teens, it was 40 ounces. I'll admit it. I'm not ashamed of it.
Ooh, all right. Now the real question: was it Hurricane? Was it Steel Reserve?
Cold
Hurricane was the cheapest. Cold 45 double malt was the best, but it was usually King Cobra.
Ooh, I don't even think I've ever had that, to be honest with you.
So here's the follow-up question: did you play Edward 40 Hands?
Maybe a time or two.
Did you ever pee yourself playing Edward 40 Hands?
Maybe a time or two. No, usually when it was the Cobra nights, it was me going around like drunk at a party going, "I'm the Cobra Commander," and just annoying people.
So when you would do the 40, would you just get yourself like maybe one for the night, or would you get a couple and just see how it goes?
You always get a couple and see how it goes. I mean,
I like
you don't
it.
just get, who buys 140?
I mean, you're
cheapos
spending,
like Jim.
He's not wrong. I mean, you spend $8 and you get like 4 40s. That's your night right there.
Yeah.
So,
throw down another $8, you get it like a half gallon of Vladimir vodka and call it a true night.
Jesus Christ!
God, you just
I can feel the hangover right now.
Fucking especially. Yeah.
I need a Powerade just thinking about it.
Speaking of that, do you remember the first time you got legit drunk?
Kinda. Kinda do, kinda don't. I remember the location, but
that means that was a good night.
Exactly.
Or terrible. Either one.
I remember even less from my 21st birthday, so it must have been a good birthday too.
Yeah, Jim can sit right there with you on that one.
I remember my 21st. It was my other friend's 21st, and I got destroyed with. My 21st, I was one of the oldest ones, so I'm just the one sitting there with a couple beers like, we can't really go out anywhere. This is good.
What birthday was it, Jim, that
It was our roommate. It was my roommate.
No,
it was our friend Chris.
I'm talking about the one that was definitely your birthday, but it was when your wife was out with us and you fell on the toilet and hit your head on the toilet.
Yes, I face planted into a public toilet, which is not the first time that's happened. I think that was like my 24th or 25th. And like Travis, we were only out at this bar for maybe 2 hours. And I went from 0 to dead within that time.
Yeah, he fell over multiple times and we got kicked out because of him. So you don't fully remember that first time getting drunk, but do you have a memorable, because Jim and I have talked a few times about some of our stories, but do you have a very memorable, just funny drunk story that you can recall, or would want to recall, I should say?
It's not so much a story as it should be like a 3-part trilogy. So like this, I'm dating myself. This is like 02, 03. At the time I was a drummer in a punk rock band, and my buddy, the guitar player, I essentially lived at his house at the time, wasn't the most responsible young man. His mom and his cousin, who also lived there, just out of nowhere one day decided, hey, let's go to Myrtle Beach. So we went to Myrtle Beach, which is, if those who don't know, it's on the East Coast, the Carolinas, all that stuff. So we go to like same day, Myrtle Beach, blah, blah, blah. Joe and I, I'll dox him, fuck it. Joe and I both got so pissed drunk within like 2 hours, Jim style, that we were just like, you know what? Because they were going to drive back same night. We were like, you know what, just go. And we decided to stay there with maybe $4 to both of our names, an acoustic guitar, no suntan lotion, and a whole lot of bad decisions. And by the end of it, We had both gotten sun poisoning so bad on our shoulders. They looked like pizza bubbles coming out of an oven. Thankfully, we met two nice young ladies down there who decided to take us in and put some lotion on our goddamn shoulders. And before they found us, we spent the night under the boardwalk, both of us sharing his acoustic guitar as a pillow. Just like sea creatures crawling on you isn't fun. Don't pass out on the beach. It's not like the movies, guys. But lo and behold, they bought us each a $50 Greyhound bus ticket on the way back.
Wow.
In the bus on the way back, we were drinking again because what do you do back in your early 20s? You put it in Burger King cups and you mix it and you go where you're going. On the bus, I remember my buddy playing Purple Haze and a bunch of Jimi Hendrix songs and the whole bus getting into it. And it was a fun ride back and just being sore for like almost 3 weeks or something from the sun poisoning. Dude, we've gone to Times Square at CBGB's. My friend's band played there in the basement. We hung out. There's a pavilion area outside there for anyone that's never been there called Joey Ramone Place, who was a singer from the Ramones. And you can just hang out there and drink in the middle of the day, and that's what we did. And just ended up in the Bowery in New York, in Chinatown, which smells like assholes, and just so many sights. But that's the frustrating thing about it. And it's a big reason I don't do it now, because my biggest flaw with drinking in general my whole life, I never really knew that word moderation. That's why it didn't really click well with me.
My man.
Yeah. Can you say? But probably there's shitloads more stories, but this isn't like a 5-hour podcast, honestly.
No, that little bit right there, that's number one. Jim and I both experienced, well, me really bad, but got forms of the sun poisoning and while we were in Cancun, so I know that feeling.
Your shoulder fell off.
Well, it didn't help as soon as you described it, Travis, I can appreciate you actually know sun poisoning, because I've heard people tell me they think they've had it, and you described it perfectly, like the pizza bubbles on your shoulder, and our dickhead friend decided to jump on my shoulders, and it all ripped off right after I got it. So yeah, I was raw. I actually still have scars on my shoulders from that alone. So yeah, that really sucked. But so you look back at those times, and even though, like you said, it was stupid, you slept under a beach. I always say, like, when you get stories like that, though, assuming you didn't come out actually hurt, it's like, how could it not be worth it to have lived through that, you know? I mean, maybe you have a different take on that, but I feel like those are just great stories to have. And like I said, you guys came out okay, and I hope you, for at least a little while, stayed in touch with those girls that took care of you guys, because that is a friggin' awesome move on their part.
Yeah, I talk to him once a year, at least.
That's so awesome.
I feel like a terrible person now. I haven't talked to them since that. Honestly, because there weren't
I was gonna say, I was like, there's no way this motherfucker's ever talked to them again.
I mean, I don't remember their names either. God, so many people just unsub from my channel. It's ridiculous.
To be fair, that's the power of the acoustic guitar, though.
It really is. It really is.
Now yeah, man. I don't know, it sounds like you were similar to us in our 20s, man. You go way too hard, make a lot of stupid decisions, and I always ask, like, if you think you had to relive at night, like you just described, at the age you are right now, do you think you could even survive?
No. Flat out. And if I did survive, I wouldn't survive when I got home and had to hear about it. Put it that way.
Yeah, it's funny how I feel like you have a solid 6 to 7 year window of, like, really kind of, I'd call it easy hangover recovery times. And man, nowadays it's like a multi-day event. Like, you can have a hangover from Saturday, it lasts you till at least Wednesday or Thursday the following week. It sucks.
But also a blessing that comes with old age is learning how, like, you see it come, like, I'm going to pop the aspirin now. And, you know, I'm going to chug some water right before I go to bed. So we take precaution now. In our 20s, it was just cheeseburgers, blah, 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 all this shit. We didn't give a shit. You know, it was bring it on.
What was in your 20s and during those days? Was it more liquor or beer that fueled you? Or both?
Definitely both, I'd have to say.
I like
Doesn't discriminate.
Yeah, Jim, that's I still think right now, Jim, you still have the sloppiest drunk stories. But Travis has a better story than you.
No, he has the stories that turned out better. I have the ones that are the more embarrassing. So
Yeah, I didn't I didn't talk about the B-sides on the album. I just talked about the hits. Trust me, I had plenty of stories of waking up in puddles or waking up with like swollen eyes from getting punched. I don't remember it, so I had totally not a saint back in the day.
Oh yeah. Well, drinking has that beautiful power of bringing people together or just fucking shit up. It's part of the curse.
For some, we're fucking. And not the good kind.
I was going to say, Jim, for you, that's no fucking.
I was going to say, yeah, oof. I'm going to romance this lady, fall my ass, shit my pants.
Nice. Yeah. All right, well, Jim, I know you had some topics you wanted to hit on, but like I said, I love getting to hear these stories, Travis. That's really awesome. Thank you for sharing those. And like I said, we wanted to just kind of get to know some history because obviously being a beer and game channel, I find it unique that both of those create what I would call some of the most goddamn picky fans, fanatics, whatever you want to call it, that there can be. Like the same way you have really staunch, like NES is the best system ever, and then you have the same exact assholes who are like, you know, you can only drink IPA or you're not drinking real beers. It's amazing we picked the top, like, two topics that just are so goddamn divisive amongst people. So, yeah, I always love hearing other people's stories when we come on.
Try starting a wrestling show once.
I've seen your comments and I've seen your back and forth, so that I do not envy at all. You can't have a right opinion. I mean, there's just, yeah.
To be fair, we are going to become an AEW podcast after this, and we're going to talk about all of their weekly shows.
Oh, man.
God damn it.
They're going to change the world. But going back on topic here, so to give you a little taste of what Travis does on his show, The Reset Button, I brought together, luckily for us today, there has been a shitload of new news dropping, and this is on Tuesday the 16th that we're recording. So big ones from both Xbox, Sony, and from Capcom of all places. So first one we're going to get into, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, Capcom's releasing their own plug-and-play arcade stick console. So there's a bunch of sites you can see info on it from, or you can just go to Capcom's website themselves. And it's basically a giant two-player, fully arcade part, high-quality concept that comes with 16 whole games. 16 in this day and age. So the games include 1944, Alien vs. Predator, Armored Warriors, Capcom Sports Club, yeah, Captain Commando, Cyberbots, Darkstalkers, Eco Fighters, Final Fight, Ghouls and Ghosts, Gigawing, Mega Man Power Battles, Pro Jeep? I have no idea how to say that. Street Fighter 2, Strider, and Super Puzzle Fighter 2. Oh boy, what a lineup.
Ooh. And
now, Travis,
is there
you
a
saw
price
this
for that?
Oh, yes. If you want to order this, I think I might be wrong here, but the prices I've seen thrown about are like in the UK, it's like £225, which in the United States, that equates to about, short of $285.
Jesus Christ.
Now, I forget the name of the arcade company, Sawana or whatever it is. They're using like, Sanwa. Genuine arcade sticks and arcade parts with it. The design, to me, looks gaudy as hell because it is literally just the Capcom logo with sticks and buttons coming out of it. So it's kind of cool, but it's also, oh my god, are you actually going to sit with this thing?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and I'm trying to read, but are these supposed to be, for the ones that can be, they're absolutely like arcade perfect, or is that their claim that they're just emulated arcade perfect?
Well, they're using really high quality stuff. I think they are using an emulator, which, as I've seen people talk about with it, it almost just comes down to like basically a Raspberry Pi 3 inside of an arcade stick.
Yeah, and I'm reading right now. They said it is the actual CPS-1 and CPS-2 that were actually their arcade. They're supposed to be arcade perfect, as this thing is quoting.
Supposedly.
Yeah, Travis, I'm going to let you start off with some of your thoughts on that.
Even if it is the actual hardware, there's a place around here that sells cabinets. I've seen cabs that go for like $350, $400. You know, my thoughts on this. Why should I get excited about this when I can get, if I really want to get into this kind of emulation or whatever, get one of these one-up cabinets and actually it looks like an actual arcade. Yeah, it might only have 3 games, but it's the display. It's much better than just the Capcom logo. I feel like the games aren't bad. And like if this was like a,
but they're not great either.
Yeah, they're middle of the road for the most part. Totally. But if this was digital only, like PlayStation 4 or something like that, and it was 16 games and they're asking maybe what, $20-$30, whatever, that's fine. But for what this is asking for, it's the price, really. Yeah, it looks gaudy and all that shit, but if it was cheaper, maybe you say $80, between 50 and 80 for this. Totally.
Yeah, that look is fucking something that I could see Jim going out and paying way too much for.
Hey, easy there. Like talking about it with people, it's like they didn't have to go. I mean, I guess I see what they're going for with the arcade perfect kind of like hardware inside there. But then you throw these games on there. Like, I don't know what Capcom's boner is with Super Puzzle Fighter 2, but they throw that on fucking everything. And it's a good game, but it's not something you're going to be clamoring to play 2 players with your buddy and calling them over. Then, like Street Fighter, they put basic Street Fighter 2 on there. They didn't put like Super or Turbo or anything like that. It's just blase Street Fighter 2. You can get the Street Fighter collection for any system for $30. It has every Street Fighter on it. It's just so many weird decisions. Like the first Darkstalkers, not even the later ones. Who gives a shit about Cyberbots or Eco Fighters? Like Ghouls and Ghosts, I'm like, all right, that's cool. Strider, that's cool, but I don't know, man. It's such a good idea that I just think they completely screwed the pooch on.
Yeah, and it seems like from the article I'm reading, whoever wrote this, I think, is a little bit too gung-ho for this. But it apparently, they're trying to say that the only saving grace is that if this truly is arcade perfect, arcade emulated perfect, whatever, that's more of a bargain than, like you said, Travis, go down and get an arcade cabinet. But to me, that still doesn't make sense because that thing looks shitty, and I'd rather just go out and buy an arcade cabinet and then throw in like a Pi or some emulation and be able to play anything off of that at that point. Like, I don't know how this sells even remotely okay, or they make their money back. I mean, I know there's plenty of Capcom fanboys, but Jesus Christ, to put that much money out for those games, yeah, that's...
And by Capcom fanboys in the modern era, we're not talking, like, they don't even know what Eco Fighters is. No. So they're going to be like, yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah. It's rare. It's just like the PlayStation Classic that just came out. A lot of head-scratching choices.
The only way this thing would become... No, it even wouldn't. The only thing I would ever say that could make this semi-worthwhile is if it's like, maybe you buy upgradable... I don't even know what you do. Something you could plug into it that you can add more games so that you could carry that around and like fill it out with the rest of the Capcom, but they would charge for that, so it's still not worth it. Yeah, like I don't know what the hell justifies that much money. I'm trying to see, like, man, I don't know. This one is friggin' puzzling as hell. And it comes at a time that I feel like the plug and play, because of all these classic things, because of all these systems that are coming out and trying to re-emulate old systems, I feel like it's a very saturated market. So it's like they missed the boom. And I don't think that's the smartest way to spend your money, but it is what it is. I don't know.
And so far, Nintendo's the only one that's done it right. Like, I have hopes for the new Mega Drive one because it's being done basically in-house by Sega, but holy crap, like, the Commodore one, okay. The Neo Geo Minicab kind of bombed. The PlayStation, we all know what the hell happened with that. So, to release something like this, like, the only saving graces for it are AVP and Mega Man Power Battles because, to my knowledge, I don't think they got ported anywhere. So, outside of just buying an arcade PCB, you're not going to be playing that unless, well, obviously there's MAME. But so for the purist out there, I guess that's a cool selling point. But for $300, who's going to do that?
Somebody.
See, I think Capcom thinks they got everybody by the balls on this by just the words actual hardware. Yeah. I think that people are just going to follow them like the Pied Piper when they hear that, especially the goddamn purists.
Unfortunately. And they'll be the ones that'll fuel this. But yeah, man, I would be absolutely stunned if this becomes profitable for them in any capacity.
Too expensive. It won't.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts. Now, is this going to be something that other, classic developers follow suit with? Are we going to see a Konami one? Are we going to see take your pick of any of them? Or you think this is going to be something? Because it seemed like it's happening with the Nintendo with the classic plug and plays. Is this going to be a similar thing, or you think this is just kind of flash in a pan, no big deal?
Here's what I want to happen. I know this is a stretch. I want Capcom focused on making good new games for their IPs and developing things, and not this shit. That's what I want Capcom to be focusing on.
Travis, easy there, buddy.
I know.
Come on now.
Pipe dream.
Jim, so when they release, a TurboGrafx version of this with 16 shitty games, you'd end up still getting it.
Sir, how dare you? Even though I probably already own the ones that they would put on there.
You would still go out and buy it. Don't act like you wouldn't.
Well, probably, of course I would.
All you would need is for Capcom, even though they didn't develop it, you would need, if Activision came out with one and they had River Raid, you'd be like, I need to get that.
Oh, I'd buy 7 of them.
God, that's...
So I do kind of really want the Mega Drive Mini, even though I know I'm probably going to have most of the games that are going to come out on that.
Don't you dare, Jim.
It's tempting. I'm just saying, things are tempting.
It's not. It's really not. Have some control, Jim. That's all I'm asking.
It's a little tempting.
Self-respect.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you're going to say.
Yeah.
No controls for nerds. Just things are tempting.
So yeah, this could have whoever came up with this is the equivalent of the Jim. That was the Jim terrible decision of that company.
It's not a bad call. Even I wouldn't buy this thing. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a question for both of you. What price point would you say, okay, you know what? It's cheap enough. I'll buy it.
$100.
80.
Yeah, Jim, 100. That's still, man. You're still being a sucker. All right.
God damn it. I'm just saying because of the arcade quality sticks.
Oh, God damn, Jim.
You know what? I saved Jim. I could go 100 just for the quality.
Hey, Travis, don't you try and stand up for him. Your 80 was correct.
That's the sound of a man feeling bad for
I'm
something.
not standing up for him. I'm kind of seeing the bigger picture when I take a step back. I'm like, you know what? He's right.
But then
that's a true pal right there.
But here's the deal, Travis. You buy that at 100, 2 weeks later, it's like, all right, it's down to 50.
Everyone's going to be disappointed when we spend 100, but I think that's the biting that we're going to take a bite at is 100.
Interesting.
I'd be disappointed if I spent 50 on it. I guarantee you. Within 2 weeks, hell yeah, I'd still be disappointed probably.
Yeah, this is something you would pick up and play.
You're setting my world on fire. So.
This is definitely one you pick up. Probably maybe dump. I'll be generous. You dump 10 to 15 hours into it, and then it's put away and it's done.
Then it becomes a social thing.
Yeah,
yeah. It's the thing you break out at parties, and then you and a buddy will play it for 10 minutes, and then put it away, and then go do something else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Go play Typing of the Dead on Dreamcast, right?
Yo, you know what? My friends love coming over and playing that. It is a party centerpiece right there.
Never been said by anyone ever, Jim.
Well, just got said because it's goddamn true.
Yeah, but it got said by a plebe, so come on.
You plebe me, boy.
All right, so what was your next one, Jim?
All right, well, the next one's obviously going to be the PS4, or PS5, I should say, announcement today. So basically what they're saying is it's going to be 8K compatible. It's going to have a solid-state drive built right in. It's going to be PS4 compatible. It's going to have all this wacky, crazy graphic stuff and 3D sound, and it's going to be PSVR compatible right out of the box. So basically, they're throwing a lot of technical jargon out there saying, hey, this thing's going to be really powerful, and it's not going to be released in 2019. That was the main gist of it.
Yeah, I was reading through before we started this, and the first thing that came to my mind is how goddamn expensive is that going to be?
Yeah.
Like we assume that's always going to stay in the same range as the previous, but based on the type of shit they're talking about throwing in there, I don't think it stays at that $500 range. I don't know what it stays at, but I imagine.
Does it pull up? sorry.
No. Like I said, I don't know what that price point becomes, and then my fear is that becomes a new standard. Like, well, we're kind of used to paying that much for a new console at this point. I'm just very curious what it'll be. If they can keep it at like 600 or something, that would be impressive. But yeah, like I said, the specs they have, this is that legitimately, like the next step up. Like I think we all love, like I love my PS4 and my Xbox One, and it did take a lot of things forward, but you could see like it wasn't as big of a leap in generational from the 360 and the PS3 to those. Like graphically, undoubtedly, but yeah, I think this is that real legit step up, and yeah, I think there's going to be a big price point that comes with that.
Yeah, does it pull like a PS3 and come out at like the $700 point? And will that pull a PS3 again and turn people off for, like 2 years until it eventually like gains a footing? Like, it's boasting a lot of shit. And like for a guy like me who doesn't have a PS4, having PS4 backwards compatibility is cool, but I don't know if I'm going to go out there and spend $700 to have two consoles.
But will you spend $700 to have the only 8K player you can afford?
What TV out there is 8K compatible?
Well, exactly.
Well,
you're prepping for the future.
On the TV? I don't even have a smart TV in my house at this point.
You just still have a tube TV. Who are you kidding?
I actually do have a 13-inch over here.
But yeah, Trav, what do you? Obviously you're much more PS4 savvy than Jim and I, even though I have the PS4. But what do you think? Is this, depending on price, is this something you're excited to hear about, or?
Look, the last thing I want to do is come off curmudgeon-y about it, but I think it's safe to say, at least in my eyes, that we're finally entering that generation of just overpriced PCs at the end of the day. And if it's going to be that, then you might as well get a PC at this point.
Yeah,
not wrong.
Yeah, it's. I think Jim and I talked about that, like this, and that's obviously the big selling point with this, with their single state drives, the type of processors. They did a test, for example, of it looks like, I guess, the Spider-Man game for PS4, and on the regular, even the PS4 Pro, when Spider-Man would move into different parts of Manhattan, there would be a 15-second kind of delay for everything to render and really fully come up, whereas they did a low-speed version of this console, and it took 0.8 seconds to do it. So, I think it's like now you'll get the games where complete getting rid of load times might be reasonable, but yeah, like you said, is it just going to be an overpowered PC? I think you're going to still try to appeal to everyone who doesn't want to go out and either buy or build a PC. So it's like the way more casual gamers, like dudes who just want to play sports games or only play FPSs. And they'll always have a market for those guys with these type, but you're definitely not wrong. I think as time goes on, that's really what you're buying at this point, is a very game-friendly modded PC console.
You also have to look at it through the eyes too of just your average everyday ass Joe consumer. Is cutting out a minute and a half tops for a load time really going to justify me spending another $200 for something? You know what I mean? Just stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no. I think there's some weirdos that would be the biggest thing in the world to them. I think it's just really a matter of like Jim said, like what is 8K? What is that even going to really look like? The availability of this having it here, it's just that next step. And it's easy to say, like, you can see the gap between an NES and now, but I thought the same thing. Once I got an Xbox 360 and a PS3, I was like, all right, well, graphics like really can't come too much further than this. And then you see PS4 and Xbox One, they've come further, and it's hard to put like the perfect finger on it. But I think you just keep getting closer and closer to as photorealistic or life realistic as possible, and that's, I guess, where they're working towards. But it's going to be very, very interesting to see. Like I said, that price point is the thing that's going to be the only killer for me. I never buy consoles brand new anyway, but yeah, adding $200 to that, I don't know if I would do that.
And
I feel like at least for seasoned gamers, like that's the golden rule. You never buy a console brand new day one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think the last console I did. I think maybe the PS2 was the last one I did that.
I don't think I've ever done that.
Yeah, it should be, but somehow they still sell them out. Or actually, no, you just get assholes who buy them and then resell them.
Yeah.
And there is one cool thing they mentioned is that it's going to, along with the backwards compatibility, it will have a physical media drive. Now, if that stays throughout the entire life cycle, I'm very doubtful, but at least at launch, the first launch models are going to have a physical drive.
Did they say anything about what we were talking about, potentially being backwards compatible with like all the previous PlayStations, not just PS4?
Nothing. They just mentioned PS4.
Gotcha. Interesting. I'll tell you what, if they can do complete backwards compatibility and use it like the actual disk drive for the emulations, that would be make it more of a selling point.
Most definitely. That's where you make your money right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially in this age of like, YouTubers and streamers and people with collections. Like, at the very least, like all the, not even saying just to straight up Sony fanboys, but everyone probably has at least one Sony console. So for people out there, it's a way to future-proof to make sure your game still works. So I know for people like us, you included, Travis, who run our pages and want to be able to record footage and just play our games for years on end, having something like an all-in-one box like that would be a definite buy for us.
Jim?
But at the same time, it's assholes like me too, who every time they re-release Final Fantasy VII in the store, I fucking buy it.
Yep.
That's why.
Yeah, you know what?
And Jim, that's what the Google console will be for. Come on.
Stadia, when it has the streaming? It depends on what games it has on it.
When you can watch someone play and it's just an advertisement to buy the game and then you can play with your favorite YouTubers and streamers.
I can't wait to jump in a game with Mad Pat and call him a cuck and him to be like, oh, I'm glad you're playing with me. Because I know that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen, Jim. Come on. Don't be so, don't be so pessimistic. God.
I'm too much of a negative Nancy. I'm sorry. Things happen.
You are. So, no, that's cool. And obviously, guys, anyone listening, especially if you're a Sony fanboy or maybe you're a Sony hater, just let us know what you guys think. But if your obvious thing is PlayStation's overrated, then, yeah, maybe save your comment.
No, give us the comments. Give us the interaction. We need the help.
Just tell Jim he's a blub.
Whatever. I don't care. It helps the video.
And by all means, you can take all the hate comments and just put them on a random video on my channel. Reaction.
Ooh, it's a good point. I can put a reaction video of me crying to all the hate comments, and then I can see where it goes from there.
All right, and then what was your Xbox
Hopefully someone
one, Jim?
subtweets it. The Xbox One, two things basically. They kind of, I guess officially, even though it's been rumored and kind of almost confirmed at this point, but the Xbox One X all digital, which God forbid everyone on my fucking Twitter timeline's like, oh, it's the Xbox One sad because it's sad. You're not witty.
Jim,
none of you are witty,
clever.
and I hate you all.
They thought about it completely by themselves.
If you're not the exact first person that ever tweeted that, I hate you. So after that, so basically the thing with that is this is like, it was both a good and awful announcing by Xbox. So this all digital one is the same shell as the Xbox One S, but with no optical drive, and it's $250. You can go out there right now and buy Xbox One X's, which is the upgraded one, for $250. So the thought process behind that, I have no clue. But they announced that there's going to be Xbox One Ultimate Game Pass now, which basically combines Xbox Live and Game Pass together for $15 a month, which I think is an incredible deal.
Yeah. Well, that's an incredible deal. But so wait, you're saying, because the site I'm reading, so the Xbox One S, that's $250. The Xbox One S that contains a disk drive is $50 more. But you're saying the Xbox One X is
there you can find Xbox One X combos out there or bundles for like $250.
And what's the difference between One S and
the
One X?
The S is the slim, the X is the upgraded one with all the teraflops in the world.
Yeah.
At least at this point. And the SUD is the one that's the slim but with no optical drive.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I would much rather have Xbox, Sony, and well, Nintendo always have a new weird way to give you games, but I would rather always have them have a variant of have the disc drive, so satisfy physical copy people, and then have the digital. Although what we've talked about, Jim, my fear is that this is going to be the prototype to see how it sells, to see if it's even viable to just do an all digital new generation release, if people are going to actually just deal with it. Because, I mean, we've said many times, physical collecting for newer consoles will eventually probably go away. And they'll be like, why are we going to keep manufacturing these when, like you said, it's really just a game code that you just still have to download onto your system anyway. So it's more or less probably just a business decision.
And I can see it being a soft test of like the groundwater for it, but at that fucking price point, man, like in my mind, if you really want to make this something truly viable that people would want to buy, sell it as the Xbox Ultimate Game Pass playing system, make it like $150. So like to go back to what Travis said before, where in the next generation of games, we're going to get to the point where it's almost worth just straight up buying a PC at that point. If Xbox, like we all know that the Xbox One had a really rough generation this year, or this go around, make it the budget system that can play Xbox Game Pass games. Sell it like that. Sell it as like the budget gamers streaming games kind of console for $150 and then $15 a month. And that can be like the Steam machine that actually works out. Give it Xbox Live, give it the good, Xbox party chat and shit like that. That's your selling point. Making it the same price as like a full-fledged console is just, it's asinine to me. I don't know what the hell they were thinking.
Yeah, Travis, well, I don't know. Before we keep going back and forth, what do you think about this?
I 100% agree, 200% agree with what Jim just said. And I also think in any kind of business, the last thing you want to do is confuse your consumer. And I'm sitting here like my head about to explode. And you're confused about that. Like they're just these names for one. That's got to change first and foremost.
Yeah. Just call it fucking something. Don't 1X, 1S, 1S all digital. Like so now you got two different versions of the 1S. You got the 1X. Like it's just fuck, man. Throw some more syllables. Everything doesn't have to be shortened down so people can say the goddamn X-Bone.
The Steam machine that should have been is exactly what it should be, like Jim said. Here's a hell of an idea. Call it X-Pass. Call the system X-Pass. That took me 30 seconds to come up with. Not Xbox One X to W3R6, something ridiculous that just takes a year to recite.
Yeah.
That's actually a great idea.
Yeah. It's a shame because I feel like if you look at Sony, Xbox, and Nintendo, they all have a really good idea. I think the thing Xbox does better than all the other two is their Game Pass and their Gold. Like I think you get the most value considering the type of games you can get. And yeah, if you have that into a streaming thing, yeah, $250 it's a tough pill to swallow. I'm trying to think like what could be the justification for it. Like, is there something they're going to add with it that makes it worthwhile? But from what I'm reading, it's really not.
I haven't seen anything.
Oh, the only thing... Well, no, this still doesn't make it that worthwhile, but it says with every one of these systems, it includes Minecraft, Forza Horizon 3, and Sea of Thieves.
Oh, fuck, take my money.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to be like, okay, so those three games combined, I don't know if Sea of Thieves still goes full price, but Forza Horizon 3 I know still holds its value. So maybe if you combine those three games, let's be generous and say that's $80, if I'm being really generous.
I think Travis and I know the same guy, but we both know one person who plays Sea of Thieves still. Like, that thing fucking bombed. And like Minecraft, $20 game. Okay, yeah. Like you can have the nieces and nephews come over and waste their time with that so they don't bother you. Like that has a purpose, I guess. And Forza's always cool, but still, like that's not a reason to make it $250.
No, it's not a reason. That's why I'm saying I'm trying to see like what.
Now there could be an edition without any preloaded games on it, and it could be cheaper. That's fair, but how much cheaper?
That's what, yeah. So if they got rid of, if it was just the bear system, you know, if they lowered it to 200, does that seem more reasonable?
Even then, because then you could think to yourself, for $50 more, I could have a Switch.
Yeah, but
Let's just say it. This is ballsy as hell by Xbox. This is some big ass balls to just this price drop for what they're asking, they're offering. I feel like.
I wonder though, is this just like they probably don't have their next system even close to, like, you know, we just talked about PS5 coming out. Is this they're like, well, we ain't got shit coming out anyway, we'll throw this out to the market while we still are in development?
Not even that, just as far as a name now, after this gen, like you were saying earlier, they have the least momentum, they have the least, I don't want to say faith, but what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean? It just, this wasn't a good run for him this time. And I know you guys love your Xboxes and stuff, but the general public eye thinks that Xbox is just shit right now, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, and since I have the Xbox and the PS4, I prefer playing on my PS4 if I'm doing single player. But when I'm doing multiplayer, I think, and the value of the Game Pass and shit like that, that's the value I get from my Xbox. So just strictly, more of my friends have Xbox, and I do like the chat system and the party a lot more. And like you said, the games are just, it is what it is. And since I was already kind of had that system, I wasn't going to get that and the PlayStation version of that as well. So that was kind of a no-brainer. But other than that, yeah, it's like I don't have the Xbox One for its exclusives because I couldn't off the top of your head tell you what the best exclusives for it. I know PS4 is way better exclusive. Like, that's pretty undeniable, which is the reason why I bought the PS4 was really only for its exclusives. So, yeah, it's like,
well, it's also easier to get into single player games when you got twice the amount of fucking options on your system than the other.
Oh yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe because I'm still a little jaded from the fact that we saw that shitty Capcom plug and play was $200. The 250 doesn't hit
280.
It doesn't hit me quite as, or no, 250 doesn't hit me quite as hard. But yeah, that's where I'm like, okay, if somebody's willing to spend that much for a Capcom plug and play for 16 games that are meh, maybe this ain't the worst. Like I think, Jim, you might have pointed out, if for some reason somebody doesn't have, like, if this is the excuse someone has to get into, the modern consoles, okay, then this is the version. I don't think this is meant to get anyone who obviously has the Xbox in any capacity. It's someone like, you're new to the market, you can get this, and you don't have to worry about having all those games on your shelf, because it might seem foreign to us, but I think there's still a lot of people who, like, they get games and they probably throw in them sleeves or CD sleeves and they throw out their boxes, because a lot of people out there really aren't collectors. So
yeah, I mean, like, to me, like, Xbox Live will still, like, always be, like, the top tier as far as a built-in kind of multiplayer game kind of service. But even looking at our friends, and the reason we all bought Xboxes, most of them don't even turn them on anymore. Like, for the ones that even bought an Xbox One, a lot of them would play it for like a month or two, and then after that, like, they just fell off the face of the earth. So, like, all the people that played, and we all played together, and we have all these great memories from the 360 generation, it translated a little bit, but it's not going to translate to the next one. They got to go for a different kind of marketing strategy here.
Yeah, but Jim, you can't compare, like, that's because everyone's it wasn't because they were dissatisfied with the Xbox.
But I mean, it's also because we're all getting old and we're all moving on. The people who had, like, the feelings for the 360, the Xbox One never built that kind of fan base. So they can't just be like, they can't do what they did this generation again and expect anything good to happen.
Yeah.
They got to change up whatever their target audience is going to be, or develop that. Because even if they're going to put, like the rumors are of putting Xbox Live on the Switch, like, if I have Xbox Live Party Chat on a Switch, why would I ever need an Xbox when the PlayStation is going to have all the exclusives and all the power? I can have my party games on the Switch, and then the Xbox is just like, what are you? Like,
which, by the way, would be one of the most boneheaded decisions Microsoft could make right now to do that.
it's both genius and weird because Switch is like the hottest system, so you can get a lot of easy subscriptions out of that. But then why would they ever buy your console after the fact?
That I feel like not so much Nintendo, the big two, I should say, are there's so much negligence when it comes to Steam. Steam isn't not growing. Like it gets bigger every year. You know what I mean? More accounts pop up and blah blah blah. It's always just sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean you have all these new services, like you have the Epic Store, you have Origin, you have all that shit too. So I mean there's so many options out there to go for gaming wise. And even for
I feel like they kind of disregard it still, especially this gen, but I feel like they need to put up their dukes a little bit when it comes to these offshoot companies and stuff, you know? Because you never know. You never know what's going to click.
And it's like you said before, like they're all pushing towards being low-end PCs anyway, so they're just creeping more and more towards being in direct competition with all these services.
Yeah. I guarantee you we could go in any public environment and talk to a couple people, you know, not like we're preaching to a group or something, just talk to someone about gaming, and we could make that line we talked about earlier where, you know, just justifying a purchase for the next gen, it's an overpriced PC. And I guarantee you the everyday casual Joe come with that going, you know what, you're right. And they'll see it.
Yeah, especially people who are gamers. Like I talk to buddies at work who they're into gaming, but not as hard, I think, as us. And they see the value. I think some of them are still they're of that same ilk of it's just more convenient, get a system. My buddies have it, whatever. But yeah, I think Jim, to your point, the next gen who didn't have the same affiliation as we did with 360 and yada yada yada, that'll be the real telltale. I don't think this system, how it does, is any indication of anything. I think the next Xbox is going to be, and the PS5 are really going to be like, okay, are people over it? Are they just, are they moving towards more PC-based shit? That's going to be the real sign for me.
Yeah, and Travis...
Oh, go ahead, Tim. Sorry.
I was just going to say, Travis, earlier today you made a great point that the grandmoms of the world are still going to try to go to a store and just pick a game off a shelf to give to their grandson or granddaughter and be like, oh, here's a game I bought you for Christmas. So there's still going to be kind of that audience too.
Yeah. But thinking that through from when I said that earlier, I wanted to take it back a little bit because at the same time, that grandmother in line at Walmart to see a gift card right there. You know what I mean? Just for a digital. No, that's much easier than having to go and talk to the guy at the game store and picking out a gift card. They can get whatever.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah. It's fun, interesting, and kind of strange times. I'm a weirdo who wants to see things like the Stadia and all those weird consoles. I want to see them pick up because I think more competition will just breed better shit. I think it was the competition and, put the Wii aside. I think Nintendo knew they needed to come to the table with something big, which is why we got the Switch, because they... the 360 and PS3, PS4, all those, they took off. So they're like, we really need to hit it out of the park. We can't have another Wii U. And they did. And I think if for whatever reason, if Xbox and Sony were kind of stale, then we would not be sitting here with a Switch right now. So hot
take also. You might disagree. Your listeners could disagree. It's whatever. I feel like the Stadia is dead in the water already. It's dead on arrival. Doesn't have a chance.
Oh, yeah, most likely. Yeah, we said the only company that from a financial standpoint could pull it off is someone like Google. But yeah, they're not game developers. They're not the chances that thing gets successful or whatever, it's very slim. But the concept is it's definitely out there, and you can tell it's done they're trying to be in with the crowd that does streaming and in with esports and in with an easier way to probably have developers be like, hey guys, we're going to keep promoting your games while people watch these streamers because there's a huge market and they can just buy your game from there. They're going to sell it on promises of that, but it's if you don't have the right games picked for it and you don't have enough people and you have issues with your servers, there's a million factors. It'll be completely niche because you're only going to have a certain amount of the country that could even have the type of internet that can probably support it, even though I know they throw out claims of some crazy low oh, you only need upload and download speeds of this. It's like, yeah, that probably won't work.
Yeah, okay.
But I think in the future, there will be some version of that does work. And it absolutely, I think, will be viable. It's like, I feel like Google backing something is the only company that could like do that legitimately. But probably won't.
Oh,
As long as Google gives it a chance, because they are also quick to go, oh, this didn't work.
Yeah. I still want my Google glasses. But what did you have another one, Jim?
Yeah. Actually, I had an underrated, but this is going a little bit, so I think we can skip to the last one. So we have a little recurring bit here, Travis, called talking about video game cover art. So this one I thought we'd do something special here because if memory serves me right, your first Hibiki review was of Weaponlord. So I figured we could talk about the cover art for Weaponlord itself. Either say Super NES or Genesis, it's the same cover. So
sure.
Yeah.
now, was that your first one, or did I fuck this up completely?
I wasn't going to say it. I was just going to let it ride, but it wasn't. But that's okay.
Jim, you can't
Swing
even just look at a YouTube page correctly.
Right. What have I told you about prep before being prep? Because that is not a thing that goes together.
Oh, okay. Then
No, you know what? No, fuck it. I can twist this. I can spin it.
No, you
I can
can't.
work in Washington.
You can't.
This was the first one that I saw from Travis.
Yeah,
so
that's a
to
terrible
me,
excuse.
No,
it's
and
first.
honestly, it's probably the first review I want either of you to see anyway, because the others aren't very good.
All right, well, Travis, before we'll stick with Weapon World since Jim fucked us up. But what was your first review?
It was, oh shit, I believe it was Heyanko Alien for Game Boy.
Okay.
Well, obviously.
Shut up, Jim.
Obviously, I mean,
You lost your opportunity to talk anymore, Jim.
I do that a lot.
Jim, do you at least remember what our first game review was?
Yes, it was Karate Champ.
All right. Son of a bitch. But no, Travis, we'll let you do the honors of starting off on your thoughts for the cover of Weaponlord.
I mean, the art in general for the game was tremendous. The character sprites, a lot of love went into them, so much detail. And I'm looking at the Super Nintendo cover, which is the same as the Genesis cover because that just popped up too. So there you go, it's the same fucking cover, but still, it's, man, this guy, he's going for broke. He's going in. He's got his extender pinchers out, about to impale this guy. He kind of looks like Goldar from Power Rangers a little bit, but not, I guess not.
No, I see that. I see. Yeah, he looks like a more spider version of Goldar for sure.
Like Doc Ock and Goldar had a baby.
Yeah.
No,
But this was like 1989. I could totally see this airbrush on the side of like a bunch of metal guys' van en route to a show.
Oh, yeah, like an Iron Maiden cover? Holy shit.
Or Coven.
Or
I'm sure there's an
Coven,
Iron Maiden
Or
cover.
Coven.
yeah,
I like it. I like the cover. It's nice.
yeah.
Maybe a Striker cover?
Son of a bitch, Jim.
Maybe.
No, you hit the nail on the head, Travis. I mean, there's really, I would find it hard pressed. This looks like a high quality comic of the time. Like this almost reminds me of like if you had a Spawn Goes Back in Time kind of cover art. And yeah, like you said, the game itself, that game, I love the way that game looks. Like what goes on in the background, the movements of the weapons, there's a lot I actually really enjoyed about that game. And this cover art was one of the things as a kid. I think we were talking earlier about like things that got you in the game. If I saw this, it's like, what do I want? Do I want this game with just a boring ass cover, or do I want something called Weaponlord with these two dudes battling to the death? Like, you know everything you need to know about the game just from seeing it. I'm a big proponent of like, I hate covers that are either too obscure or completely miss the mark, and you play it, you're like, what the fuck does that have to do with the cover? So I love that this kind of really just puts it out there. It's like, yep, it's going to be violent, it's going to have some crazy-ass weapons, some creatures, and you're fighting each other. Got it.
And I just think I said on the too. It was like all the characters in the game look like they could be on like a Dio album cover or something. And I remember like when I was doing research for this, like the artist or whatever, he took influence from Conan. That's where he came up with it. A lot of the design, which is you could totally tell.
It looks like something Rob Liefeld would have definitely drawn for like either a color of like Cable or Spawn or shit like that. Like they have 17 abs, they have more back muscles than exist. Little lacking on the shoulder pockets, but besides that, like it just screams
small children, you know.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just such a cool throwback for like guys of our age group. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah. This is absolutely, this is what I always like to deem as man shit right here. Like you see that and you're like, yep, this is just there's just something so like satisfying. I don't know, about seeing that. It's like ultimate just badass. Like you're like, okay, that's really awesome. So yeah,
it could use a big titty girl in the background enjoying herself to this, but besides that, like not anything in this world can be perfect. But you know, it's almost there.
Jim, did you forget there was a man named Kurt Hennig?
God damn it.
I'm just saying.
I'm very aware.
If you're gonna sit there and say nothing in this world can be perfect, I think I just pointed out something.
Fine. For once in my life, just for Kurt Hennig, I'll stand corrected.
Yeah, I wasn't going to pull you out of the fire that time, Jim. You don't ever sully the name of Kurt Hennig.
I'm sorry. He took down Brock Lesnar at 30,000 feet. I admit my mistake.
So yeah, no, this is
couldn't take down cocaine. Sorry.
No, but this is definitely one of the, well, probably one of the best, if not the best cover we've done with these little segments, and it's a game I think it's underrated because it takes a little bit of getting used to how to control it, how to manage the weapons, and parry back and forth. But it's a game that I think anyone who tries out, like you put some time into it, you can appreciate it a lot more.
Sum it up, Weaponlord is kind of like if Eternal Champions was a good game. That's Weaponlord at the end of the day.
It's a good comparison.
Jim, does that chap your ass? Because
No, I accept it because Eternal Champions they were trying to sell it as that Street Fighter killer, and we all know it sure as hell wasn't. I like the game, but I like Weaponlord more.
Yeah. Yeah. So, did you have another topic, or was that the last one?
You know what? Fuck it, real quick. So Travis has had a real boner lately for the R-Type games. So we have a little segment on this channel called Overrated, Underrated. Or no, fuck it. Fuck that up. We have a little segment called Which is Better. So, in this week's Which is Better.
Jesus Christ.
See, Travis, this is the shit that Brian has to go through with me. In this week's Which is Better, we have vertical scrolling shoot 'em ups versus side scrolling shoot 'em ups. What do you think is better?
Me?
Yeah, let's
go with the guest of honor first.
Vertical all day for me.
Really?
All right, actually a little surprised by that.
Any particular reason?
I'm better at them.
Great reason.
Nice. All right.
See more of the goddamn game if I'm playing a vertical shoot 'em up.
So
terrible legendary wings. I've never been good at that one.
You know what? I might have to agree because like you talk about the side scrollers, you have like the Thunder Forces, the Gradiuses, the R-types of the world, and then the vertical ones. You have like all the toe plan shooters, or like the Mooshes and the Blazing Lasers and Ikaruga and whatever their one on the Saturn was. I forget the name right now because I'm a little drunk. But
Jim, how about the game you claim to love so much, River Raid?
Oh, River Raid, classic vertical shooter. So there you go. Another reason the vertical's better.
Fuck, Jim.
So, I mean, I'm probably in the same boat with you. I do love me some horizontal ones, but fuck, man, vertical ones, I just seem to do better with overall. Unless it's Ikaruga, which is just an asshole game. And for some reason, no one's good at it. And for some reason, I am awful at Elemental Master. As much as I try, I just can't get that one down, but you give me like a Fire Shark or a Musha or my beloved River Raid, I can get pretty far in that.
Yeah, I think from a technical standpoint, vertical shooters are typically a little higher performing because it can, for whatever reason, I feel like they can just move faster in that direction. Where the side scrollers it depends if you want to count this. Like Jim, you named off a few. Like I love me some Gradius, but I guess I would throw like something like Contra in there as a side-scrolling shoot 'em. And I love the shit.
I guess I'm thinking more like the more shmuppy kind of games. Like Contra's a little different, but
well, it's run and gun, whatever you want to call it. I consider that your side-scrolling and your shooting. But if you're strictly keeping it at like, just keep it simple, say a space shooter, then yeah, I think,
say like Darius or Gradius or you know shit like that.
Yeah, so if you're not including things that are run and gun side scrollers, then yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that the vertical will work out a lot better because you can move faster, and I feel like you just have better control of the screen in not all cases, most cases. Where a side scroller, I feel like you're always subject to that screen of death that comes towards you from the left the whole time. And
I get more nervous on side scrollers about hitting the goddamn floor or the ceiling too. Big time.
Exactly.
It's definitely more anxiety.
Yeah. So yeah, I think from a technical basis, I think vertical makes more sense. I'm trying to think of Gradius would be the number one, but I'm trying to think of another side scrolling that would be like, this is the obvious great shoot 'em up. But
you have like Thunder Force, you have Darius, you have those series. Like they're all really good.
R-Type,
R-Type, Life Force, UN Squadron.
Well, once again, the only way I would say side scroller is if you, depending on how you wanted to categorize it, if you threw in like, fuck, Jim, it's killing me. We just reviewed it so Contra, like on the Sega Genesis, is one of the best games we reviewed. Was it Gun Force?
Oh, Gunstar Heroes? That's
Heroes.
a running gun.
Yeah.
That's I think we're talking more shmups here.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. If for some reason you threw them in this category, I would say I'd prefer side-scrolling. But if you're strictly keeping to just spacecrafts...
Well, that's actually a good point because everyone kind of seems to hate the vertical levels of running gun games. Like Contra 2 and even those weird Mode 7 vertical kind of shooty levels in Contra 3, like... That's everyone's least favorite part of those games.
Yeah. But, like you said, I mean, some people consider them side-scrolling shoot-'ems, and some, it's how you classify those games. They're a different style, obviously, than just holding down fire, doing whatever the hell, just moving out of the way of projectiles. So, yeah, I think vertical, though, probably has to take the cake based on your definition.
Plus, I can't picture juggling goddamn bells on a side-scrolling shooter. Can only do that in Twin V vertically, and I love the Twin V series.
Oh my god, yeah, true.
Don't.
Yeah,
I'm really glad they came out on the Switch eShop because I never played a Twin V game before then. And I was like, man, I suck at these, and I'm like, it's still fun. I'm like, oh, I got to level 3. Holy shit, new personal best.
Jim, wait, isn't that what you have to say about most games?
Choking on rage.
That's right, choke on it.
Oh, you buttfucker.
Hey Jim, did you get number 1 in Tetris 99 yet? No? Okay.
No, I have not gotten 1 yet. I've gotten to 2. I haven't gotten to 1 yet.
Well, 2's just the first loser, Jim.
Well, I know there is an Asian with robot-like reflexes out there who I just can't get past, and it happens every goddamn time. So, nah.
Jim, knowing that, how many times have you played that?
What, Tetris 99?
Yeah,
a couple dozen.
So, would you be interested in doing a little bet with me?
Oh, for fuck's sake! What is this?
I've never played it. If you give me 10 chances and I come in first. Then,
damn, I'll give you that bet.
I'll take that bet. I'll take that bet right now.
I'll take that bet all day.
So if I come in first, Jim, then I get to choose a game of yours to get rid of.
No.
See, you're too scared because you know I could pull out some bullshit.
That's the problem is you can pull some bullshit.
Jim, I've never even played it.
I think you would never get first place in that within your first 10 tries. But I'm not risking any of the things I've ever spent money on. Go fuck yourself.
All right, well then, how about if I do that, you do the truffle shuffle?
Fine. If you, within your first 10 games, do it, I'll do the goddamn motherfucking truffle shuffle that you've wanted me to do on this site for so goddamn long.
All right. You gotta witness it.
Yeah.
I will shred the last of my dignity. I'll do it.
And maybe we even, maybe we do it live. I play it live. I'll play it off your Switch because I'm not buying a goddamn Nintendo monthly thing.
Oh God, you can't spend $2 a month. My God.
Jim, I gotta put out $250 for a new Xbox console. What are you talking about?
Well, you got to put out $285 for a new Capcom console.
Yeah, come on. Gotta save my money.
All right, fine. I'll do your goddamn stupid fucking truffle shuffle. That I'll probably goddamn lose because life hates me. That's what's gonna happen.
Jim, wait. Can we sweeten the pot that if I get first on my first try, we add something to that?
Oh Jesus!
Like there's no chance.
An X-Pass system.
There's no chance I'm gonna do that. Like there's no chance I'm gonna do that.
There is a -1% chance. So of course you'll probably do it. But what do you want to spice it up with?
I'm gonna have to think about that.
Oh, great.
I think
outside of getting rid of something.
No. That's what I'm saying. Maybe I have to have you publicly admit.
I got it. You have to play Donkey Konga shirtless on a live stream for 2 hours.
I think Travis just gave us a good idea.
All right, I think he's on.
You even have that fucking game?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
Didn't I get you the congas for that?
No, I had the congas. You got me the game because you got me like that. Somehow you found this one at Goodwill or like one of the thrift stores. That's like weirdly, they must have come from Canada because half of it's in French. So like that only came out in like the Montreal region. So
you're welcome.
Our first patron ever, Broski, would know something about that. He probably has that version.
All right, so that's the deal. If I can come in first on my first playthrough.
If you can come in first on your first playthrough, I'll do the goddamn truffle shuffle and I'll play goddamn Donkey Kong and goddamn French for goddamn 2 goddamn hours.
Never wanted another grown man to succeed at something more in my life.
Oh, man. Am I at least, before I play the game, am I at least allowed to read up on tips so I even know what we're doing?
No, you have to go into it cold.
Here's your tip. It's fucking Tetris. There you go.
That's a good tip.
Actually, I legit don't even, is it just like you just have to survive longer than everyone else?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's some strategy with like doing KOs and it's going after your attackers and shit like that, but I mean, it still just comes down to a lot of luck and pinpoint reflexes after a while.
Interesting.
It's no Tetris attack, but it gets pretty hectic.
Okay. All right. It sounds like we got a good bet.
That sounds like a thing to go out on.
Jim will be sweating bullets that episode. I can promise you that.
I'll be
goddamn true. And we won't even make that a Patreon exclusive.
Nope.
We'll make that a legit bet.
Thank you, Travis, for that.
Thank you so much, oh guest of honor.
All right, guys. Well, Travis, we can't thank you enough for coming on. Obviously, we definitely got to get you back on again. You are our first guest ever, so technically.
Let's be fair to Dan here.
Yeah. I forgot our first virtual guest, I'll say.
First of a new era of guests.
Yes,
we'll say that.
But no, we really appreciate it. And, go ahead. I want you to plug away everything again before we hop off.
Man, first of all, thank you guys so much for having me on. Not only my buddies, but I'm just a fan of all your content and your shows. Keep up the good work, man. I'd love to come back. Love to have you on my show again. Well, we're going to do a redo. But after that, I'd love you to have me on my show again sometime. Yes, on Twitter, at the HibikiTMD. HibikiTMD on YouTube. Retro gaming, pro wrestling, goodness. Slam Pigs Podcast Union smack the reset button. Never drew a dime. Hibiki Pro, Hibiki Plays. Sunset Stripped. I might have repeated one. I always fucking do. But thank you guys again. Check me out on the YouTubes.
All right, guys.
Seriously, go check him out. If you guys really do want a guy who works his ass off on YouTube and will give you plenty of content, definitely go check him out. We'll put the link below to his channel. Please hit that subscribe button. This guy deserves it.
Yeah, for sure. And as always, if you have any comments for us, any questions you ever want to throw our way, topics you want to hear us talk about.
Holy shit. Oh my God, I'm the worst.
What'd you fuck up now?
I think I actually asked for Patreon questions earlier. I mean, we can save it to our next one with just us. And I won't have to work by then.
We will. God.
This has gone long enough, I'll say. Sorry, everyone.
All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. And as always, guys, cheers.
Cheers, guys.